So locus of the control is the idea that there are two types of people in a way of kind of binarizing it. There are people who believe that everything is within their own control. So when negative events happen to them, they take control of the situation and they try to move forward in a way. So try to find a side door, try to find another entrance. And then there's people with an external locus of control who believe that everything happens to them. So it's at the hands of other people. It's at the hands of the universe in the extreme. Most of us will have both internal and external locus of control depending on our domain. So maybe in family life, some people will have internal locus of control. They believe that they can control everything. They feel quite safe in their family life. In the work life, they think their career is happening to them. And I think, again, it isn't all or nothing. So getting people to think about what is it that I can actually control in this particular moment and taking the choice to take that control. So I think even for people who are having a really terrible time in toxic workplaces, who are being bullied, there is something that they can actually control in that moment, and really encouraging them to take that control to allow them to move forward rather than just seeing the negative and just seeing the bad things that are happening to them, with the idea that they can get out of that situation.
Okay. How do people end up with internal/external loci? We
don't know. So this would come down in the same way like genetics. So you would have people who will believe in nature and people who will believe in nurture. And I think the reality is that it's probably a combination of both. So our genetics probably give us some proportion of our locus of control when we're born, depending on the kind of experiences that our ancestors have had. But I think the biggest thing is going to be the environment that you actually grow up in. So I think if you're put in an environment where you're encouraged to make decisions when you're really young, you're encouraged to kind of choose your own path, choose your own toys in the play box, for example, that's going to allow you to think that you are then more in control of your own destiny as somebody who has these kind of really, really structured lives and thinks that everything is coming for them. And I saw a researcher, and I can't think of his name, but he's working on the changes of the generation from generations where kids were just left to play, so they were kind of pushed out on the road, towards this kind of structured education where people go to different sessions at particular times, but their whole day is stacked by their parents. It does seem to have some influence on whether or not you think you can actually control your own destiny, those kind of early moments.
That's interesting. I guess, like, so I feel like I'm quite an internal locus of control-y type person, but I wonder if that can also go too far. Like, if, for example, I don't know, I get rejected by a girl, and there's an extent to which it is useful for me to internalize that as, okay, I could have controlled that situation, I did badly, therefore what can I learn from this, etc. Yeah. But there's also a part of it that's like, well, actually there are a thousand reasons why I've been rejected by this girl that have nothing to do with me in the slightest.
Yeah.
And I guess it is about balancing the two, that sometimes it is actually external factors that have led to something that are completely outside of your control. But let's think about what are the things we can control and what can we do differently next time, potentially.
And I think this is a really good attitude in decision making. So if you think about how most people determine whether or not an outcome is successful, they will look to see, did they succeed or fail?